You, right now, look me in the eyes and answer the question, what happened while I was gone? I leave for a month, I take a break from looking at the news, and then I get ready for today's show. I look on the internet, and what's the first story I see? A reality star from 90 Day Fiancé started selling her farts in mason jars for $500 a pop, then $1,000 a pop, ended up making $200,000 before she says she was hospitalized because she was eating so poorly to make those farts, and so now she's selling those farts in a mason jar as NFTs. That is possibly the most 2022 story I've ever heard. I think it sets the tone for the year. And so
that is a fucked up thing. Also, no one should feel sorry for her because she purposely did that herself. Like, if she was just like normally eating and then farting and then stuff happened because some other thing, that's fine. But she was purposely eating to the point where she would fart more. That's not on her. No sympathy whatsoever should be given to her at all.
On that
also, that's a ridiculous amount of money.
Happy note, it brings me joy to say, sup, you beautiful bastards. Welcome back to the first Philip DeFranco show of 2022. And do me a favor if you would.
About time. God, why'd you have to take such a long time off? This is how I know what the days are. Your show. Without you doing your show, I had no idea what the days are, man. I'm glad you're back, man. I'm glad you're back.
Let's start off on a good note. Hit that like button, make sure you're subscribed, and let's just jump into it. The first thing that we're going to talk about today, it's one of the craziest things I've seen in a while, which, given the state of the world, is kind of wild, but here we go. The story is out of Los Angeles, California, where you have these hero police officers saving a pilot from this horrifying accident. So let's walk through it together. You have this pilot flying a plane. Luckily, no other passengers on board. He has to make an emergency landing, with authorities saying that the plane lost power, and ultimately he crashed, but he didn't just crash. He crashed onto a set of train tracks near Whiteman Airport. Officers at a nearby LAPD station then
so close yet so far.
Minutes, and then we see this footage from the ground showing the officers trying to pull the pilot out. Just seconds after they drag him to safety, we hear the train's horn blast right before it rips through the empty plane. Thankfully, there were no other injuries reported on the ground.
Why didn't
the pilot was taken to a local trauma center, was in stable condition. And understandably so, people have been calling these 4 officers who responded.
Why wouldn't they radio? Because wouldn't they know of a train be relatively close? Why wouldn't they radio up and it's like, hey, tell your train to slow down? It might not be able to slow it down fully, but at least they could have like attempted it. Instead of like, what? Like, why? I mean, good on them for rescuing him, but still, why wouldn't they just radio the train drivers, hey, slow down, there's a crash on the train tracks, try to stop before then.
Heroes. And yeah, that seems like the word to describe it. That's insane. And then let's talk about this fucking video. This is one of several videos that have gone viral over the past week showing maskless people partying on a flight from Canada to Cancun, Mexico for a 6-night stay. Right? It might be a little bit different than a flight you've taken recently. We're seeing dancing, yelling, passing around bottles of alcohol, even vaping in the cabin. Right, this blows up.
Idiots, all of them.
What? I need to know more. But as it turns out, this was a privately chartered plane from Montreal filled with Canadian social media stars and reality TV personalities, among other people. The trip was reportedly organized by the invite-only group 111 Private Club. With these videos going viral, you had a lot of people
111 Dummy Club.
In the public. In fact, the public backlash became so bad that we even saw Prime Minister Justin Trudeau say this.
I think, like all Canadians who've seen those videos, I'm extremely frustrated. We know how hard people have worked to keep themselves safe, to limit their
Why does he have a green tie on?
gatherings at Christmas time.
So weird.
To wear masks, to get vaccinated, to do all the right things. And it's a slap in the face to see people
slap him back.
Putting themselves,
super
putting
fines,
fellow citizens, putting airline workers,
charging with biological terrorism. Super easy.
Completely irresponsible.
So as a result of their behavior, Sunwing Airlines, which flew the group on December 30th, canceled their return flight, saying
hey,
our decision
good.
to cancel the return flight was based on the group's refusal to accept all terms and our security team's assessment that non-compliance would be likely based on their previous disruptive onboard behavior.
Good on them.
Not just being then, we saw other Canadian airlines like Air Transat and Air Canada announcing that they too denied return flights for several passengers in the group. As of last Friday, with Canada's health minister saying that only about 27 of the 130 passengers were back home. And of those
that's
back
too
home,
many. It should be 0.
Different flights to get there. They were tested upon arrival at the border. They were asked for proof of vaccination and quarantine plans. Also, turns out it's not over. The country's transportation authorities saying they're investigating the incident, saying that the passengers could face $5,000 fines for violating masking requirements. This will also be interesting to watch.
If they're influencers big enough to have a private club invite, $5,000 is not going to be anything to them. It's going to be like a, no, don't do that again. That's all it's going to be. It should be a lot more. They should have jail time. They should be charged with biological terrorism because that's what that was. God.
Because we've also seen at least one passenger test positive for COVID who's a teen who won a trip in an Instagram contest. But they're claiming that not everyone was engaging in reckless behavior on the flight, which is also something the club's founder, James William Awad, also said on Twitter. With him also saying, I've significantly learned that I'm still learning from this experience, but also trying to downplay the chaos that was captured on video.
So that's just the rich person version of, fuck you, bitch, nothing's going to happen to me. Why does this keep saying subscribe? Am I not subscribed to him on this account? I am not. Oh, okay. It was on my other account that I was. Oops. I'm just going to fix that quick.
Video. Then, is the Twitch apocalypse here? That is a question that a lot of people are asking following this latest controversy and debate that's happening over Twitch and of all things MasterChef and Avatar: The Last Airbender. And that because a number of major creators on that platform have just been watching and reacting to TV shows, with one of the most popular being MasterChef, with Gordon Ramsay himself even having a quick back and forth on Twitter with XQC, one of the streamers who's a major part of this meta. Well, many saw this reaction and were hopeful that it could open a door for maybe Gordon Ramsay and streamers to collaborate together, with other creators and viewers going, okay, one, how is this even legal? And two, this new attention is just going to get everything shut down. With some creators asking, are these like public domain shows or something? Do larger companies just not care about folks restreaming their stuff? To which DJ Wheat, who's actually head of the Twitch community production, saying it's absolutely not okay. Just like it has never been okay to stream music. This is just as DMCA-able as anything else. Hard to say why streamers have not been targeted, but just like music, it's probably just a matter of time. But adding, this is not an official Twitch take, just my own. But also with
that's the thing though, like, these big creators don't care because they're gonna get a slap on the wrist. They're gonna get like a up to, I think, 2-week ban, and then they're gonna be allowed back. Why? Because Twitch doesn't care about enforcing the rules for the big creators, only the small ones. It's gonna fuck the small ones horribly, just like the whole hot tub stream. But no one cared about that, and if anybody stood up, then they were an incel or a simp, because people are morons not realizing this.
With that, you had major streamers chiming in about how people are getting away with this, including people who have been streaming MasterChef like Hassan Piker, tweeting everything is fair use if the copyright holder doesn't care about pursuing a DMCA claim. Be smart, don't watch entire movies, Viacom, Disney shit, or new episodes, and stop snitching. With him adding, and he is right here, that technically video games should fall under that, but the companies don't care or actually see benefits if creators stream their games. But then, funny enough,
yeah, that's the thing though. On games, most games, there's multiple ways you could play it. Case in point, say Skyrim, one of the most popular games. Just because a streamer plays it one way does not mean that's how it's going to be for everyone, because there's so many different ways you can do it. So they're just showing essentially a trailer type for that game, and the game company realizes like, okay, cool, they're giving us free promotion. We're going to let them stream our game. And that way people are like, oh, cool, this game looks fun, or like, I like the graphics, I like the gameplay, whatever. They're going to go out and buy it. Movies and TV shows, they're linear. If you watch it, you've watched it. There's not multiple choice. There's not multiple ways it could end. It's, if you watch the entire episode, that's how it is. If you watch clipped episodes, so like, this is episode 1, part 1, part 2, part 3, and it's the full length episode, but just cut down into clips to circumvent the DMCA. The people are going to get the, wow, brain fart, not going to work. The people that own the rights to them are going to get smart to this and adjust the laws to not allow even those up, which these big people don't understand, and they're freaking morons.
Enough, not long after tweeting that, he got a DMCA hit of his own for watching MasterChef. This also after one of the largest streamers on the platform, Pokimane, was banned for watching Avatar: The Last Airbender on stream. Though they're taking it in stride, saying, I'm not surprised and I don't think this is unfair. In my opinion, it was inevitable that publishers would take action.
So then why would she do it? Like, this is what I mean. The big creators do not care. They're going to get slapped on the wrist for 14 days. That's not going to matter. They're going to come back to bigger numbers. They're going to come back to more money, and Twitch is going, oh, cool, more money, let them back on. When this is going to keep happening, people are going to stop going to Twitch because it's just a cesspool. And that's what it's becoming, is a cesspool. The big creators are fucking over the small creators, and they're not caring.
reaction on me or someone else during this React meta. But also with that, she ended up receiving a fair amount of backlash, with that criticism boiling down to the fact that many saw this as an example of a creator doing something that benefits them, even though overall it's bad for the community in smaller communities. They get a temporary ban for 2 days, they come back to usually bigger views than normal. Hey, y'all, as far as my reaction to this news, it's the first one of the year. Prepare yourselves. I just want to say, don't be stupid. Like, I'm not hyped and excited about a DMCA claim or Pokemon or any specific creator getting suspended, but as large creators like Moist Critical have already publicly said, it's just common sense that you can't stream a full TV series, anime, movie franchise on Twitch. No studio will ever say, yeah, if you buy our Blu-ray, you can stream it to 40,000 people who haven't. And it's not just this random, it only affects you, harmless thing for these big creators to be doing this. When there's something like an adpocalypse that we've seen different versions of here on YouTube, it doesn't really affect the big channels because we have the ability to move and figure out solutions. It hurts the little guy. But with that said, that's a story, my personal opinion, and I want to pass the question off to you. What are your thoughts here? But from that...
Hold on, Mr. Franco here. Philip. That is a 180 from what you've said before. I realize people's opinions can change, but this was only from a couple months ago when the hot tub streams were around. You're like, you do you, go do your own thing, like, make bank, go ahead. That is the exact same thing that's happening. It's even worse since the hot tub streams, most of the people that are like the bigger ones were essentially doing, if you look up the definition, it was softcore porn. They were doing that on Twitch. That could trigger an adpocalypse, which I think it actually almost did. I think Twitch had to like fix stuff like really fast. But it's the exact same thing. They don't care. And it only affected them, and it was fucking over the small people because stuff was being like shifted around. And also, we're lucky it didn't fully affect the ads, because ads, for any Twitch streamer knows, ad revenue is very shit on YouTube, on Twitch, sorry. But if Twitch loses that ad revenue, they're going to need to make up the revenue from somewhere else. And this is what I've been trying to tell people, explain to people. If they do that, then where is that extra revenue going to come? There's a good chance that they could increase the price of bits, which right now I think it's for 300 bits, which is $3 in bits. It's like 4 something or 5 something. And then so that $1 to $2 extra for that one pack of bits goes straight to Twitch. They're going to increase that price. So instead of for 300 bits, it's only say $4, they can increase it to $6 or $7, making people want to buy bits less because it's not like they're not getting as much bang for the buck. And they could also then adjust the percentage that people get for the sub split. Right now it is 50-50. So right now Twitch streamers get $2.49 out of the $4.99, so $5 tier 1 subs, and then it's half of whatever the other ones are. They could adjust that. So instead of 50-50, it could be 60-40 or 70-30, 80-20, 90-10, which will then fuck the small creators more because we're the ones trying to rely on stuff like that. Like with what the Twitch leaks came out of, only 0.02% of streamers able to make enough money to live off of. That would get even less if they adjusted how they paid out and everything like that, like their percentages for the subs and how much money they have. But people don't care. And if, like I said before, if people had stood up to the whole, like this thing or the hot tub streams and stuff like that, they'd be called incels or simps because people are morons, and that's all they could go is childish name calling. These people need to learn that just because someone doesn't agree with something and are trying to take a stand against it doesn't mean they're incels or simps. It is, I mean, some might be, but there are a lot of people that will look at it and look at the potential. Like, I'm a streamer on Twitch. I looked at this and it's like, okay, if the ads get fucked up, this could happen. And like I said, the whole percentage change, the increased bits, all that could happen. And I was looking for that because I was trying to make a career on Twitch. But people didn't seem to realize this, and they're just, oh, you're just a simp, you're an incel, you don't get a say, blah 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 blah. It's like, this literally affects me. Like, of course I would get a say on it, and I'm not just hating on them to hate on them. I'm giving reasons on why it would be bad, why it is bad. Yet these big creators are gonna constantly do stuff like this because it's just gonna get them views, it's just gonna get them numbers, more money, and the small people are gonna get fucked over. And until these companies like Twitch start banning the large creators and holding the bans. Like, if a smaller creator did this, they would get banned, and there would be no 2-day ban, 3-day ban, 2-week ban, whatever. They would get banned, and that's it. They could not come back. Yet for these large creators, it's, oh, slap on the wrist, then you can come back to even more money. That you're probably making more money than is if you stream for those couple days anyway. It's ridiculous.
I want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's show, Squarespace. I've been partnering with Squarespace for years.
I should get one of those.
If you're getting your business off the ground or creating a place to share your homemade goods, new favorite hobby, or turn
Can you sell stuff on this?
A personal blog to get
online store. Oh, nice.
No
I definitely gotta do this.
Squarespace is there
Squarespace.phil. Okay.
Just all the marketing tools and analytics.
Okay, we're just gonna.
Your first purchase. And then
there we go.
There's a massive fight happening right. Make sure you enter an offer code.
Remember, guys, to use that code and support Mr. DeFranco here.
To get 10% off your first purchase. And then there's a massive fight happening right now with teachers and students fighting back against schools staying open as Omicron surges. COVID cases in the U.S. are topping new record highs, as are school closures. According to Burbio, a data firm that tracks school closures, at least 5,409 public schools had canceled class or moved to remote learning by the end of last week, which is triple the number we saw in December. But notably, that is still just a fraction of the nation's 130,000 schools, and many of the biggest school districts in the country are still insisting that students come into the classroom. Los Angeles, which is home to the second biggest district, is requiring that students at least test negative before they return to school this week. But in the biggest district, New York City, classes have already resumed following winter break. And although the city has said that it will double random tests and send home more kids, students were not required to provide negative results. Meanwhile, teachers in other major districts have protested.
Why are these people in charge of teaching kids? They're morons. If people are infected and you test them and they're like, oh, you're infected, go home. That person still has infected people. The dam is breached. There's not a little, put a little band-aid over the breach there. No. It's breached. You're fucked. People should have to have a negative result going into class. And even then, kids are disgusting motherfuckers. They're going to have germs everywhere in the best of circumstances. And you want to do this with a freaking spike in the COVID? Oh, morons. These teachers need to be taught. They need to get smart.
The local government's decision to stay open, with one of the most closely watched battles being out of Chicago. There, students have now missed 4 consecutive days of school due to a feud happening between Chicago teachers and Mayor Lori Lightfoot. Last week, the teachers union there voted to return to remote learning in defiance of a citywide order mandating that they teach in person, with them citing inadequate COVID-19 protections. But you had Mayor Lightfoot claiming, no, the conditions are fine, the students are safe despite record surges. Instead, opting to cancel classes altogether while
obviously, they're not fine. Obviously, they're not adequate. If there's surges, you moron. If there's surges, that means it's not adequate. If there's surges, that means that there's a breach somewhere. So you don't put the germ factories back together to let it go. You fix it, you moron.
this fight plays out. And honestly, who knows when this is going to end? Yesterday, you had the union saying that they were still far apart from making any kind of agreement with public school officials after Lightfoot rejected their demands. Lightfoot, for her part, has said that she remains hopeful that a deal could be reached, but she also stirred up the union by accusing teachers of staging an illegal walkout and claiming that they abandoned their posts and they abandoned kids and their families. But also, important to note that it's not just Chicago teachers. You have teachers in other school districts also beginning.
No. If they're saying we're not going to teach in person because it's unsafe, I completely agree with them. It is on the politicians that are making big ass bank for doing shit. They should have some of their salary cut and given to fixing these problems. There should be multiple hand sanitizer pumps around the school, in the classrooms. There should be the Lysol wipes or whatever disinfectant wipes you want. And then after every class, the students should have to wipe down all their area. And also stop being disgusting. But no, it's not them abandoning it. It's them going, hey, this is unsafe. We don't want to get fucked up. Then that way we can't teach at all. And we don't want our students to fuck up, because if they get fucked up, then we can't teach them and they'll become even more moronic. No, they are completely, if they're saying return to digital learning, then do it.
beginning to draw their tactics from Chicago. On Friday, we had teachers in Oakland, California staging a sick out, closing 12 schools, serving thousands of students. With this story, I want to pass the question off to you because many of you are on the ground going through this, either yourself or your family is. As a parent myself, I'm just kind of lost and exhausted with this. I've had, I'm coming up almost on the 2-year anniversary of this hide and seek game that I've been playing with COVID. Because
Have you been winning the hide and seek?
Kids off to school, I'm like, is this the dumbest fucking thing that I'm doing right now? Like, it feels like everything that we've done over the last 2 years is trying to pick like the less.
Yeah, depends if you're having surges in your area or not. If you're having surges, then sending them could be considered dumb. Yes, if they're being safe, if they're doing like checks, if they're being sanitary, if they're doing all this stuff, it is perfectly fine.
Shitty of the two incredibly shitty options. Yeah, that's why, especially with this story, I would really love to know your thoughts on this. And then, should
that should not. All right, that's gonna be the whole thing. I'm safe here in my wizard study, so I can't say it for like down on the ground stuff like that. But I know if you're using logic, which I know logic, right? If you're using logic, then it should be if there's a surge, test people. If there's a whole bunch of people infected, they don't go to school. If it's easier for the teachers to do remote learning, just let them do remote learning. There's no problems with that. And you could have it so like they could do remote learning, and then during certain hours, their classes could come in to, if they need like extra help, like in-person help, because I know some people might not be able to fully comprehend if it's on the screen. So like have, I think, what is it called in university? Office hours, I think it is. Certain times where the teacher's in, and then it would only be like they'd have to show they're not infected, and then that way the teacher could say, it's like, all right, little Timmy, you're from 4 to 4:15, and they come in, they ask in those 15 minutes, whatever they need, everything like that, and then the teacher could give a quick wipe down of the desk and everything like that where little Timmy was, and then little Sarah could come in for 4:20 to like 3:35 and stuff like that. Could do stuff like that, and that way it would cut down, because there's some kids that'd be like, oh cool, I know this, we're perfectly fine, and there's some people like, oh, I need some help, and they could go in. It's not like it'd be a full class going in. Ugh.
Citizens be allowed to vote? That question
No.
is in the air right now because New York City just expanded that right to more than 800,000 people. With that coming after legislation passed by the city council took effect yesterday, giving legal immigrants who are not U.S. citizens the ability to vote in key city races. Well, New York City is not the first city to take such a step, but it is the largest to give these rights to non-citizen immigrants. And so what this looks like in practice, non-citizens will be able to register to vote a year from now if they've lived in the city for at least 30 days and are green card holders, DACA recipients, or given work authorization. And if the law remains in place, those individuals will be able to vote starting in 2023 for primary and general elections for citywide and local races like that of the mayor, council members, and borough presidents. But that is also a big if, because legal experts believe that this new policy will be contested in court. And in fact, the Republican National Committee has already said that it will challenge this matter, arguing that it violates the state's constitution and election laws. What I'll say with this is, while yes, this is not going to impact a federal election, this is still very big locally. New York City has nearly 7 million voting age adults, and what we're talking about here is giving the right to vote to 800,000 of them that previously could not vote. That's like 1 in 9. And while yes, this is a New York story, I mean, depending on what happens here with the law being contested, does it stand, does it fall? It is very possible that if this stands, we will see this spread to other states. But we've also seen some states, including Alabama, Arizona, Colorado, and Florida, adopting new rules that will stop any attempts to pass laws like this one. But all of that said, it brings us back to the main question of this story. Should non-citizens be allowed to vote? I'd love to know your thoughts. And then
No, they should not. Oh, God. Ubisoft's in the news. No, they should not be allowed to vote because that is one of the perks of being a citizen. If there's no more perks of being a citizen of a country, then people will just go like, hey, I want to live here temporarily. Green card, if I understand that correctly. And then they're just going to do all that stuff. No. Citizens are the only ones that should be allowed to vote because they're the ones that are going to be there instead of just for whatever the green card holds. I think it's only a couple of years and you have to renew the green card. And then if they're on work visas or work orders or whatever it was, then that's just for the work. So it could be done in a couple months. And it's like, then those people get to adjust, control how, influence. That's the word, not control, influence. Influence how the place is run, even though they're not going to be there. That's absolute shenanigans. It should be only citizens of that place. It's like me going to BC, and it's like, hey, I want to I want to influence how stuff is run here. As soon as that's done, all right, I'm back. Bye, and then come back to my wizard study here. That's not. No. Citizens only should be allowed to vote. If they want to be able to vote, become a citizen.
Is it a cash grab? Is it good or disastrous? And what I'm talking about is gaming and NFTs. Right, since December,
With Ubisoft, it's a cash grab.
Companies have been grappling with this issue after Ubisoft introduced NFTs to their games. Their platform, called Quartz, allows players to buy in-game cosmetic items for the game Ghost Recon Breakpoint as NFTs. They call those NFTs digits, and the whole appeal of these is supposed to be that the NFT's number will be on the item itself, and the item will remember all of its previous owner. Those items can be sold on third-party platforms, with Ubisoft being able to take.
No. This is Ubisoft. It is not going to work that way. If you're lucky, you're probably going to see say there's 10 orders. You're going to be lucky if you see 3 of those owners, maybe 4. Ubisoft is such a shite developer. I have talked about this many times on stream, which ironically playing one of their games, but that's what brings it up, is they don't do things properly. They want money and that's it. They don't care about longevity and stuff like that. Yes, I know every company wants money, but there's companies where it's okay, here's our game, something fucked up, oh crap, they fixed it, and then they continue on. It's okay, we fixed it, learn from their failures. Ubisoft is oh, something's broken, here, give us money for this thing. It's okay, but Ubisoft, fix that problem, please. It's a simple fix. Right. But what about this other stuff here for more money? Do this. No, Ubisoft, fix your problems. No, buy this instead. It's a
small cut. However, the entire concept drew backlash from the gaming community, with many viewing it as just a stupid cash grab. And of note here, so far, it does appear to be a failure, with early reports indicating that only around 15 items were actually sold on third-party platforms. But despite this initial backlash that we've seen, other companies have announced that they plan to move forward with NFTs as well. EA has been on the NFT bandwagon for a while, with its CEO saying
that's not a good thing.
NFTs and blockchain tech are the future of our industry. That sentiment also repeated by Square Enix's president over the new year, with him writing in a letter, "I see 2021 not only as Metaverse Year 1, but also as NFTs Year 1, given that it was a year in which NFTs were met with a great deal of enthusiasm by a rapidly expanding user base." With him going on to detail how the company is excited by the prospect of blockchain-based games and how the tech might be used to allow gamers to more actively contribute to games. But not every
EA is the one, right? Yeah, EA is the one that doesn't release full games. Them doing NFTs, you're gonna buy the fucking NFT and you get a quarter of it if you're lucky. It's oh, you want the rest of this NFT? Give us more money. EA should just be purged from existence. Their IP should be sold off, and the CEOs and stuff like that make all the decisions should not be allowed back in the sphere at all.
Companies on board. Sega cited fan backlash to gaming NFTs and their recent decision to be far more skeptical about implementing the tech, although they didn't rule it out completely. But all of that involves companies that would very likely make a lot of money. So what do the players think? Why would NFTs be attractive to players, and why do players have an issue with them? Right, some of the criticisms we've seen are kind of the same criticisms that we've seen with most blockchain tech. Critics saying that even the most environmentally friendly NFTs are still massive power hogs that get worse as they scale up. But for the sake of today's story, setting that aside, right, we need to talk about the more specific problems that gamers have, with many saying that they have trouble with seeing how these new NFTs in gaming would actually maintain their value, saying that usually NFTs rely on artificial scarcity and speculative markets for JPEGs and other easily copyable file types. Some also pushing back, saying we don't need NFTs to make a marketplace for in-game items. For example, Valve's Dota 2 and CSGO both have in-game cosmetic items that can be sold for real cash between players, with the main difference being that if it was an NFT, you could sell it on a third-party marketplace, but also people saying, why would I? Though you also have some supporters saying there is a collectible aspect to this. Yes, with the artificial scarcity, but also, let's say, maybe you're a big Dota 2 or League of Legends fan and player, maybe you're watching the International or Worlds. Kind of like how you have people in the real world buying an actual sports jersey that was worn by one of the players. It might be possible to buy the actual skin used by a pro player during the finals of one of those events. I do want to interject, not me personally, I think in general it's kind of stupid, because my personal opinion, and maybe this is short-sighted, we'll see in 5 to 10 years. Like many others, I have huge doubts about how this could actually be implemented. A lot of the way that this has been talked about are NFTs being used by companies to justify selling even more more expensive skins,
Yep.
capitalizing on recurring revenue, or because some of the stuff that's being imagined or proposed, like for example, Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park, he seems like a pretty massive supporter of the technology, and he had a thread defending their use in games, writing, imagine taking your favorite skin from Valorant and using it in Fortnite, and
That's not gonna
paying
work.
extra because you own it, then using it in COD, Minecraft, even Twitter, Instagram, so many possibilities, no? But I mean, I look at that and
No. Is he a moron? I think he's a moron. He's a moron. If it was all owned by the exact same company, I could see it. So like Ubisoft, Ghost Recon, Breakpoint, Siege, Wildlands. I could see a skin being used in there. Like, so if you have a skin in, say, Breakpoint, you can use it in Siege and stuff like that. That's fine. Valorant, Fortnite, Minecraft, whatever the other things he was saying, those are different owners, different games. Minecraft is 8-bit. It's not going to transfer over. Fortnite is like a cartoonish style thing that's completely different from the style of Valorant. You moron. It's not going to work. Sorry.
I think, okay, that would require all those gaming companies who directly compete with one another to not only decide, yes, we're going to work together, but also implement that same skin across multiple engines and platforms. And I don't know, once again, could be short-sighted, but I can't imagine a world where even if it was implemented properly for a consumer, that it wasn't a shit show. Like take Fortnite, for example. They sell a ton of skins that you can use in that game. Most of the skins limited as far as when you can buy them, right? There are time limits, certain availability. But I imagine for all of these skins to have third-party value, you'd probably only want a limited number of those skins available to users. So all of a sudden, like a clothing drop or a sneakers app drop, you gotta deal with a ton of scalpers, probably raising the price on you. But yeah, with all of that, bring it back around. Whether you're a skeptic, a casual, or you're super in love with NFTs, what are your thoughts on gaming and NFTs? Is it the future? Is it the future you're excited for? Or is it
future of morons?
Cash grab? But yeah, ultimately,
It's super
that is where
cash
that
grab.
story and today's show ends. Thank you all
What?
for being a part
No.
of the first show back into 2022. And a quick reminder, if you're subscribed, go ahead and check your bell. Make sure that it is set to all notifications because I'm going to be posting
Don't
a lot
worry.
more than just the 4.
I get all the
videos. There might even
videos.
be a morning video
They're good for
tomorrow.
information.
But no matter what you decide to do, I just want to close by saying my name's Philip DeFranco. You've just been filled in. I love yo faces, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Wait, hold on. Filled in as in PH or F? Because that changes it, and that could be really weird. But that shenanigans aside, that is the first reaction to Philip DeFranco show. I figured I'd do this. I was wanting to do it for a little while. I had some assets up and stuff like that. But I wanted to do it. I figured the first one back of the new year would be a good place to start. As they come out, I plan on reacting to some, and I will be looking into getting Mr. DeFranco's blessing on to continue this. I technically could do this without his blessing, but it is his stuff. I want to get his blessing first. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I obviously will get better as it goes on, as I get used to reacting more, because I am used to just gaming and doing art stuff, not actually doing reacting stuff. So hopefully this was all right. But remember to subscribe to the Philip DeFranco show there. Remember to subscribe to mine, because I will be doing a whole bunch of different stuff. Well, see you guys all later. Remember, stay safe, stay healthy, stay awesome, because you guys are all awesome. Bye-bye.